Welcome friends. Today we will understand some other important figures of speech. So let us understand because it's a very broad topic. So there are a number of figures of speech which are very important. So let us understand some more figures of speech. The first one that we are going to understand today is very popular and most of you are aware about it. So let us understand what is this. This is called interrogation. Interrogation. Everybody understands interrogation. What is the meaning of interrogation? In this figure of speech, before we understand, let me clarify what is this. Interrogation, as you know, interrogation means asking the question. But this is a figure of speech because here the question is not asked for the purpose of getting an answer, but the question is asked in order to emphasize something, in order to underline something, in order to put something in a forceful way, to make an emphatic sentence. So, interrogation. In this figure of speech, a question is asked not for the purpose of getting an answer, but to emphasize something or say something emphatically. In this figure of speech, as I have told you, a question is asked. The purpose is not to get an answer, but the purpose is to say something forcefully, to say something in an emphatic way. So let us understand it through examples. And one more thing, this figure of speech is known by some other name also, and that is called rhetorical question. Rhetorical question. This is the another name of this figure of speech. Another name. Another name of it is rhetorical question. Here you can write R with capital. Rhetorical question. Now example. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? This is first one. Who is so vile as not to love his country. Vile means bad. who is so base. Base means of low category as to become a bondman. Bondman means slave. See another example. Who has seen the wind? Who has seen the wind? Neither you, nor me, nor I. Neither you nor I. Another example. What does a man plant who plants a tree? So here you can easily understand these are the rhetorical questions. So before we proceed further for the next figure of speech, let's have a quick recap. Interrogation is that figure of speech in which a question is asked repeatedly. If it is found in a poem, then you will find that it comes repeatedly. The idea is not to get an answer, but to emphasize something, to say something forcefully. Am I my brother's keeper, who is so vile as not to love his country? Who is so base as to become a bondman? Who has seen the wind? Neither you nor I. It's a very famous poem. What does a man plant who plants a tree? This is also a line from the poem. So when such rhetorical questions come in the poem, they come repeatedly in stanzas. In every stanza almost they come. But if they are not coming in the poem, then they may come in prose also, in drama also. So the idea is to emphasize something. So I hope you have understood what is interrogation, what type of figure of speech is this. Now let us move over to the next figure of speech, which is called exclamation. Most of you are already aware about the exclamatory sentences, how they are used. You might have been told in the school what type of sentences are there, and exclamatory sentences also are a part or a type among the sentences. So, but they come under the category of figure of speech also. So let's understand exclamation. In this figure of speech, an exclamatory sentence is used to say something forcefully. In this figure of speech, exclamatory sentences are used to say something emphatically or in a forceful way, which an ordinary sentence could never do. Exclamatory sentences express our emotion, joy, happiness, sorrow, different types of emotions. We can easily express our emotions by using exclamation. Exclamation actually refers to a particular word that symbolizes some emotion. And sometimes, if no such particular word is used, then the whole sentence works like the exclamatory sentence when there is no proper word of exclamation is there. So in this figure of speech, we are able to express our emotions in a very good way, in a very forceful way. So let us see how it happens. Example: how nice the moonlight sleeps on the river bank. On the river bank, exclamatory notion. Alas, he is dead. How nice the weather is. How nice the weather is. Fantastic. Let's go. Let's go there. So these are the few examples through which you can easily understand exclamation. What is this figure of speech? So here, before we proceed further, you just understand. In this figure of speech, an exclamatory sentences are used to say something emphatically. Emphatically means forcefully, which an ordinary sentence could never do. How nice the moonlight sleeps on the river bank. Alas, he is dead. How nice the weather is. Fantastic, let's go there. So here you can easily understand how an idea is conveyed. Some nice ideas, some regretful ideas, some joyful ideas. How you are able to convey these by using such a figure of speech. Now let's move over to the next part. That means the next figure of speech, and which is also very important figure of speech. And what is the name of this figure of speech? Its name is climax. What is the name of this figure of speech? It's climax. So climax, you know that climax comes in a story, in a play, in some movie. Climax means the high point. The high point. So here what happens that you express your ideas, your sentiments in such a way that they keep on increasing in importance. They keep on showing you increasing importance. Okay, so let us see what happens in this figure of speech. Climax. In this figure of speech, a series of ideas or sentiments are arranged in the increasing order of their importance. The idea is to heighten the effect of the words. The idea is to uh, heighten the effect of the words. Example, to infinity and beyond. Simple, erect, severe, austere, sublime. When concord is lost, infidelity is lost, infidelity is lost, liberty is lost, liberty is lost, everything is lost. What piece of work man is, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in actions, how like an angel, in apprehensions, how like a god, how like a god. Let us see one more example. Before I give you one more example of climax, let us have a recap. What is climax? Climax, as you know, it's a high point. A high point comes in a story, in a play, in some novel, in some movie. Some climax comes. Climax means the high point of the narrative. So here, a series of ideas or sentiments are arranged in the increasing order of their importance. Here, the ideas are written in such a way, the ideas are expressed in such a way, the ideas are spoken in such a way, as the case may be, if it is a play, movie, or simply a novel, as the case may be, that they heighten the effect. They heighten the effect in the mind of the reader if it's a novel, in the mind of the audience if it's a play that is being staged, or if it is a movie that they are watching. To infinity and beyond, simple, erect, severe, austere, sublime. So here you can see these words are getting from mild to strong. These are getting from mild to strong in their meaning. When concord is lost, infidelity is lost. Infidelity is a weaker word in comparison to liberty, and then everything is lost. So they are arranged in such a way that they give you a climax, high point. What piece of work man is, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in actions, how like an angel, in apprehensions how like a god. So here you can see these are the examples of climax. Let me tell you one more example. This is another example. Let a man do his duty towards his family, society, nation, and to a god. Let a man do his duty. So here you can see how the climax is reached. Family, society, nation, and to God. So these words are in their increasing order of importance. In the order of their increasing importance. So now we will move over to the next figure of speech, which is anticlimax. As the word itself suggests, it is anti. Anti means opposite to climax, and here the opposite thing happens. Let us see what is anticlimax. Anticlimax is a figure of speech which is opposite to climax. It expresses sudden fall from higher to lower. It expresses sudden fall from higher to lower. So let us understand how it happens. Example, thou great Anna, whom 3 realms obey, dost sometimes counsel take and sometimes tea. Thou great Anna, whom 3 realms obey, dost sometimes. Thou great Anna, whom 3 realms obey, sometimes counsel take and sometimes tea. So here from high point, 3 realms obey. Realms means 3 areas, 3 big areas. So here, whom 3 realms obey, sometimes counsel take, counsel means advisory, and sometimes tea. So from high point, we are showing the low point. Is it clear? Now another example. A soldier works for the glory of a nation and for a shilling. Shilling, you know, it's a currency, it's a coin of currency, and for a shilling a day. So glory is the highest point and shilling a lowest point. So here from highest to lowest. Now another example. I will tell you one example and I will just write whatever is there. So let me firstly tell you what is the next example. You might have seen horrible movies. In the horrible movies, I am telling you a scene. In a horrible movie, the tension builds up when a girl approaches a closed door. After hearing some scratching sound behind it, when she opens the door, a rat comes out. So from high point to a lower point, the action falls from high point to a lower point. So you just, I am writing this example. In a horror movie, the tension builds up. When a horrified girl approaches a closed door. Some scratching noise is coming from behind. Some scratching noise is coming from behind. When she opens the door, a rat comes out. So this was another example of anticlimax. I'll tell you one more example. Suppose a house is on fire and a fireman enters a house hearing the weeping sound of a child. When he actually goes inside, he finds a cat there. He actually finds a cat there. When he comes out, then he finds that the family members were standing there outside, safe and sound. So here, this is an example of anticlimax. That you expect something high, but the opposite thing happens. Okay, so it's like a shock or a surprise for you. Okay, so here you just understand these examples. A soldier works for the glory, as I have told you, glory is the high point and shilling is the low point. And I have already told you, in a horror movie, tension builds up when a horrified girl approaches a closed door, hearing some scratching noise behind it. When she opens it, then a rat comes out. So actually from high point to a low point, the action falls. So I hope you have understood anticlimax. So I think that your understanding regarding the figures of speech is growing. We will understand some fine differences among some figures of speech in the next class. So before I end the class, if you are a regular student, then you subscribe the channel and you ask your friends to subscribe the channel, and if you are a new one, then you simply subscribe the channel. Okay, thank you.